Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Bareham Engines. So mate, I'm cracking on with the CVH.
Yeah, looking good.
Yeah.
Got those rods in there, nice rods.
Got the rods. We've got... So last week I did the clearance, checked the clearance on the mains, talked all them up, absolutely fine. Just plastic gauged the big end.
Oh yeah.
Just to see what we've got, because obviously these are the max speeding rods. We've actually, with the new pistons, I did mic up the pin diameter compared to the old one, and they're about a thou up on the old one.
Oh right.
And they were a little bit snug in the new rods, so I've just run the hone down the Delapina hone down the small end of the rod. Got them a nice slide fit, mate.
Nice.
So going by the old pin diameter, it's probably not a fault of the rod. It's just the new pins are
a bit bigger.
a little bit bigger. So we've done that. Just gauged them up. Now that big end journal measures pretty much 1.8 inch, a little bit over maybe.
Yeah.
And if we check this going on our plastic gauge chart, he's a little bit, you see he's bigger than 1.5 and about the same gap there on the one, about the 2, so about 1.8
Yeah.
thou, which is absolutely perfect. Gives us a thou per inch, doesn't it?
Yeah, perfect.
So I'm more than happy with that, mate. Like I've said before, it's a combination of three things that that's why we always plastic gauge it. I know plastic gauges, some people sort of say, well, it's only a vague, it sort of is in a way, but you've got tolerance on the rod housing, you've got tolerance on the journal, and there's also a bearing tolerance thickness. So
Yeah.
you've got three things there that can probably vary the actual clearance by about a thou. So
it's always good to
check as a final, you know. That's,
it's like a final check, isn't it, really, to make sure you've got what you think you're going to have.
yeah. I mean, usually with these King race bearings, I tend to go by if you take the rod housing out to sort of maximum on the limit, on the tolerance, general rule of thumb is you've got just about the right clearance usually with those bearings that we buy. But that obviously depends on the crank journal size as well, because you've got about, I think there's about 0.6 of a thou tolerance on that. So it's always good to check it, isn't it, with the plastic gauge?
Yeah, give it a good little final check, isn't it? So.
That's right, yeah. So these are piddly little bolts. These are 5/16.
Oh yeah.
These bolt threads here. They're ARP 2000, mate. So you've got 3/8 on the COSI. These are 5/16. So we've got a little book here that come with the Expedient rods. You would find the same torque on the ARP website, really, but it just gives you a guide here. So you've got your various sizes. We're looking at 5/16. It gives you the two grades of bolt there. We've got ARP 2000. And it's given a stretch recommendation, which we would do if it was a second-hand bolt.
Yeah.
But with a new bolt, using the IRP grease, 26 foot-pounds. Doesn't sound like a lot, does it?
No, it's quite, well, not loose, but
yeah,
it's not mega tight, is it?
Not really, but then I suppose it's a small bolt, and obviously we're using the grease. You're going to put more torque on it using, in effect, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
using the
wet
same
torque.
So we'll torque this one up here, mate. So with this one, the cylinder head's all done. I've put the new cam in there and the solid lifters. So I'm just going to torque this up. Now this is the way this is different compared to the Cosworth is obviously the Cosworth oil pump goes inside the sump, bolts onto the block, feeds into the main oil gallery from the block or into the filter. And then you've got the pickup off there, whereas this one, you've got the pump on the side. So you can actually replace the oil pump without taking the sump off.
Ideal.
Really.
So that's driven off the end of the crank, like a lot of other stuff, really.
Yeah. Although I say that, but I don't know whether actually can you, because you've got the seal. Well, you could do.
You might have to drop the sump slightly.
No, you can't actually. I'm lying, because you've got the pickup pipe which bolts on from the inside. So I'm talking absolute rubbish there.
Oh yeah.
So this is the pickup pipe. Bolts on there, bolts to the block and to one of the main cap bolts here. So yeah, you couldn't replace that in situ. You'd have to take the sump off. But anyway, been a while since I've put one of these together, to be fair. So yeah, I'm just going to do these up, mate, and then I shall turn it over, get the cylinder head on. I shall do all that before I put the sump on, just to make sure everything's all right.
Yep.
And that'll be another one done.
Ideal.
Could do with another few motors in here, really, couldn't we?
Yeah, running out really.
Running
Got
out.
that and the K series.
Well, really what it is, I was thinking about it today. I mean, we've still got enough to do.
Oh yeah, we've
still got loads to do. But engine-wise, we were sort of knee-deep in them for a bit.
Yeah.
And I've sort of been putting people off, saying, look, I don't want to be inundated having engines sitting here. And then all of a sudden, we've got quite a few done this last month or two, haven't we?
Well, we have,
got about 5 done, so...
Not bad.
No. Still going to set about the K16.
Waiting for
which
pistons,
you and I will do,
we?
and we'll do some video on that. Be quite interesting. Still waiting for the pistons. So, yeah, I'll get this one turned over, mate. We'll put the head on and I'll show you how we time it up and set those clearances up.
Lovely.
Jubbly. Running out of bits.
Not a lot there, is there?
Well, actually, these are the old ones. These are the old
I was
ones.
going to say, you forgot to put the rods
So
in.
all we've got left is them
Nice.
on the CVH. Quite a nice engine to do this. The only thing that isn't very nice to do on it is these solid tappet clearances.
Oh right, because they're a little mod, aren't they?
Because you haven't got any room to adjust them.
Nice.
So what you've got to do, mate, fortunately I've done these 7. Just going to show you how I'm doing the last one here. You can see we've got bags of clearance there. So first things first, what you've got is what replicates the original hydraulic. It's just a solid body with a drilled and tapped in the end with a fine thread.
Yeah.
And then you've got the sort of bolt that goes in and the lock nut underneath. So what you have to do, mate, is we'll turn it round up, do one at a time. So you can see it's lifting the valve now. As soon as it drops the valve, I normally go about roughly half a turn.
Yeah.
And then we know that we're off the lobe on the base circle, nice and safe. And then you've got your clearance there. So
Yeah.
I've sort of measured this. Now you can see obviously the leverage of the rocker. If you were to take the clearance from this side, it would be tighter than this side.
Right.
So I always do it from the longer side, so off the valve top. Otherwise, if you do it off here, you end up with more clearance there, and it could make a racket. I've heard that before. So we do it under here, and we have got there, mate, roughly
half a pack of feeler gauges by the look of
it. 58 thou on there, and these need to end up 8 thou.
Right.
Now these cams in the CVHs with the solid lifting version, they're fairly critical on the clearances. If you get them too slack, even 1 or 2 thou, they end up making a bit of a noise. So I try and get them absolutely bang on, mate, which takes a little bit more time. So the way I do it, every time we have to take these nuts off. Now these nuts, you can see.
These nuts.
You can see there, they're sort of oval, so they're crimped.
A bit
really.
weird.
Yeah, it acts as a lock nut. So what I do, by the time I've done all these, I normally replace them with new ones, because obviously we've had them on and off several hundred times. So we take that off, and we remove the tappet, and you can see there, look, what it is. What I do, to start with, the reason we've got a massive clearance is I put the lock nut right up to the top there and wind it in as far as it will go.
Yeah.
So then we clean it off, and I get a little marker, and I just put a mark, he says, a little mark there and there, just so we know where we are. Yeah? And then roughly one turn of a flat on this, like that, is about 12 thou.
Okay.
So we're at 58, we need to be 8, so we need to close that up 50 thou. So if we do four flats to start with, we should there be around, I would say around 12 thou-ish.
Around, yeah.
So what I do, mate, is we go over to the vise. This is a palaver, isn't it?
It is really.
And I pop them in, obviously with the soft alley jaws in there. Just nip it in there. We've got our 217 mils. So holding the top one so it doesn't move, he says. Wind the lock nut down.
Bit of a pain, isn't it?
It is a pain, isn't it, this? What a bloody palaver. It takes a couple of hours to do these normally. So just nip that up, and then we try that in there and see what this has got. Now, while I'm putting this back on, yesterday I was having a little bit of a panic, wasn't I?
Yeah, you were a bit.
A little bit of a panic, mate, that we was getting a little bit quiet. Not
Well,
that we
to
are
be
actually
fair,
quiet, we've still got plenty
Yeah.
to do.
Just the main engine stuff seemed to start going a bit thin, didn't
It does, yeah. What I've been doing, because obviously since we've had this area here built, what I've been doing is what I tried to do towards the end of last year, and sort of all the emails we've had for inquiries, I've sort of put them off until we've got room really for them to bring in. But all of a sudden, we're so efficient in here now, we can strip bits out, and we seem to have sort of, whereas before we had 2 or 3 engines and maybe a bunch sitting there waiting to be done, we can get them all stripped.
Yeah, it's like we can have them all sort of ready to go, all machined, ready for, you know, waiting on parts, and then as soon as the parts turn up, we can get them together.
That's it. And so you've done the 2A series, I've done 2 or 3 engines here, Cozzies and what have you. So in the last 6 weeks, we've probably sent 6 of them out the door, haven't we?
Yeah.
So it's getting used to that fact that we're quite efficient now, and we can turn them round quicker.
And I don't know what you think, but it does seem to me more now that it's like someone inquires about something, and within a couple of weeks, their engine's in here.
Yeah.
And within a month or so, it's back out again now.
Exactly.
Rather than, you know, we'd have stuff sitting around waiting for ages, months and months, waiting to be started. And so it seems a bit more like in and out now.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's going to probably take a bit of getting used to that, really, how the speeds we can turn things around and that. So yeah, doing this area has almost paid for itself in the first 6 months, hasn't it?
Yeah.
The fact that we can
It's
get
good
them
going.
out fairly quicker. Yeah, I'm well happy with that. But the panic is over because we've got 2 engines coming in. We've got a Duratec that's fully trick. It's coming in next week.
Nice.
We've got another Cosworth that's coming in. We've just had this turn up. We potentially could be having another one of these, mate. Now this
It's dirty.
is the troublesome 2.7 Land Rover engine.
Is it? I thought it was a 3.
Is it a 3 litre?
Well, the engine code's 306 DT, so I assume that's
This
it's a 3. But
is
I
the
don't know.
troublesome 3 litre engine out the Land Rovers. So these are the ones with the renowned crank issue.
Yeah.
Apparently, there's no reason why the cranks go or do an end or break other than being a bit of a design flaw in the crankshaft.
Yeah.
So it's the first time we've actually done one of these from top to bottom. This one has done a crank. Apparently, I think this is like a 68 plate, isn't it?
Oh, I don't
Something
know.
like that. But it's already had an engine from Land Rover.
Oh yeah, there's a little plaque here.
What we got?
It says engine exchange product, Land Rover,
There we
genuine
go.
exchange. So it's
Is that 2.7? Does that mean?
it says 274, but on this down here, you can see down there it's a 306 DT.
Ah,
At the bottom there.
there we go then. But yeah, they're both crap anyway, aren't they?
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Well, they would be good if it weren't for their design flaw.
Exactly.
Many engines, a lot of diesels are like that, really, aren't they?
Yeah.
It'd be a great engine if it weren't for one thing that they overlooked.
Yeah. So this one has done a crank again. It's done a big end by the looks of it. Obviously, we're going to assume at the moment that the block's okay and it hasn't spun a main or anything. because that's going to be a game changer. But until we strip that, we won't know. But we fortunately can get the crank kits at a fairly reasonable price on these. So we're going to be stripping this completely down. Obviously, first thing we'll do is check the block out, service the heads, rebore pistons, new crank kit, and potential, well, one rod at the very least.
Yeah.
And then obviously cam belt, chain.
Belt.
Is it a belt on this one?
Yeah, belt, I think.
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
So yeah, we're going to get in amongst this one, mate. And potentially we've got another chap that's local who's got one of these to be done. Same issue.
Yeah.
He's just going through the warranty process at the moment. So yeah, quite looking forward to getting in amongst that and seeing what damage it's has been done, mate. But
yeah,
it's very difficult. I've let the customer know that obviously with a design flaw from the manufacturer, it's very difficult to warrant that, isn't it? So if it goes again,
it's a known thing, then it's sort of
it's a known thing. You cannot warrant it, and there is actually on the crank kits now that you buy, there is no warranty on the crank kits if anything happens to them because of that. So he knows that. So yeah, we'll be getting in amongst that next week. But let's have a little look, see what we've got here, mate. See if my calculations are right. 12,000 a bit slack. Feels more like 17. So, got to go down 9 or 10 thou on that one.
I suppose that's just the nature of these, though, isn't it? You can't really. How are you meant to know?
Not really. Yeah, it's all a bit trial and error with it, but I'll just try and get it as close to the 8 thou as I can.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a lot of. It's a shame you can't just do it in situ. So yeah, the CVH is nearly done. Just got to sort of paint the sump, stick that on.
Oh yeah.
Pickups on and all that. Rocker cover's got to go on. Got to time the front pulley up, which I should get all this done today, and then that is another one out the door, mate. CVH gone.
So is that a vernier? Yeah, it's a vernier one then.
Yeah, it's a steel vernier pulley on that. Obviously a stage 1 cam. So this spec here, we've got the trick pistons, trick rods, competition bearings, all the clearances and that have been done properly, balanced. So this motor should be a nice 200 horsepower motor. We've got the hybrid turbo up there.
Hiding away.
I've had one of these in a Series 2 that's about this spec here, and what a lovely motor that was. They should have been that from the factory, really.
Yeah.
130 is a bit tame these days.
It is.
But 200 horsepower in a little Westcott like that, good fun.
Yeah.
Just on the verge of serious torque steer.
I was going to say.
Great fun. Well guys, there we go for another video. Hope you enjoyed it. Please do comment down below if you've had any experience with these particular V6 engines, either the 2.7 or the 3 litre, or if any of you guys have worked on them or can come up with any sort of little tips you might be able to give us before we get in amongst it. Be very much appreciated. We'll see you in Friday's video. Cheers guys.